Any of you are fairly new to Life Church, this is my great friend Jeremy. Him and Penny and the family have been part of this church for more than a year or two. And those of you that are familiar with him, you know just the journey that we've been on in our connection with Kenya over the last number of years, and all that we've invested in terms of finance, of vision, of personnel. Just great. You're going to not say any more because you'll have nothing to say, mate. Sorry. Jeremy, all yours.
Thank you. Well, it's great to be back. I'm Jeremy. Hello there. I have the great pleasure of heading up the missions work for this church. And I've got to tell you, it is the greatest job in the world. It is completely unpaid, but man, if I could do it full time, I would do. I'm just back from Kenya last Sunday. And there's certain things that we have to do. All right, to introduce ourselves properly. This is the Kenyan coming out in me now. So first of all, here's a welcome from the church in Kadawa. Brilliant, thank you. Fantastic group of people. They like us, they've not been able to meet for some time. All right, churches were closed, schools were closed. We'll come on to that a little bit later. But greetings and welcomes are very, very important in Kenya. So if we can go with the PowerPoint. Here we go. So let me do the official bit. I'm going to bring you greetings right from Hesbon and Violet, and leaders of the church over there. All right, send their love and their greetings. You'll hear from them a little bit later. And also from the church and all the leaders of RCC, all the churches they've established over there, from the headmistress of Victory Christian School. All right, and again, you'll see why she wants to send her greetings in a little bit. And finally, from Jessica and the credit union. Now, credit unions, a little bit boring, really, aren't they? Not some of the most exciting stuff that we've done, but I thought we'd start this morning with the credit union. All right, and, hang on, I'm pointing at the back. I've got my clicker here. There we go. Fantastic. So, we opened the credit union in 2013 with 200,000 shillings. Okay. At the moment, it has 732,000 shillings sitting in it. I've put some of the sterling equivalents up there for you as well. So of that, the shares value, 313,000 shillings that people have saved. All right. And at the moment, we've got loans out for 318,000 shillings and a fairly healthy bank balance as well to cover everything. Should everyone all of a sudden want their shares back. Now, why the heck start with talking about something like the credit union? If you've been here a while, you'll remember the very first loans that we gave were $30 or £25 to establish a very, very small business, maybe making some baskets or buying and selling some vegetables. But now we've got to the point where our loans are up to, it says there, £350. All right, and we're actually, the people are coming to the credit union, they're borrowing money to start businesses and actually to employ people. Now, you look around the video I just showed, of the people, 200 or so in that church, there are probably only half a dozen actually employed. All right, so imagine being able to come and take out a loan and employ someone is just a phenomenal thing. And I have to tell you, this is the same all over Kenya. It is the women that are leading things. All right, it's them that are saving, that are heading up the family, that are starting the businesses. And I wanted to show you a typical business in Kenya. So this is a typical shop. All right, this is actually in Kisumu, which is like the equivalent of Birmingham. It's the third largest city. And there's actually 4 shops in one there. Obviously, it's a converted container, drive-through, almost click and collect. There's one shop that sells whiskey. The second one, I couldn't quite figure out what they did. There's another one, the third one sells sausages. And again, the fourth one hardly had any stock in there. I couldn't really figure out what it was that they did. But that's a typical shop. All right, so if you're borrowing money to start a shop, it'll look something like that. And this is Doreen's shop. Now, that's not actually Doreen, that's the person that she employs, because Doreen is the deputy head of Victory Christian School. And this is her third loan that she's taken out. And I'll put some little stars on there. Let's see if this pointer works as well. No, it doesn't. Okay, so the one on the right-hand side is her main business. It's buying and selling maize. So she buys in bulk, 90-kilo sacks at a time, sells it 2 kilos at a time in a tin, and it's selling at the moment for 130 shillings, so about £1 for 2 kilos. Last time I was there, 2.5 years ago, it was 80 shillings. All right, so massive inflation. And then she's got dried cassava for making porridge, millet seeds, and then all those chairs in the background as well. She's a great businesswoman. So she's got all that space she's not using at the moment in a rented shop. She's offered to store all the market stalls' chairs in there, 5 shillings a piece. And she says that she's deputy head. She also, can't quite see it there she is. In the right-hand picture at the bottom there, you can just about see it. She also sells charcoal as well, because this market just comes alive at night, and there are people cooking chapatis, samosas, mandazi. I really wanted to cook some mandazi for you this morning, because it gets to about this time, you get a bit peckish, don't you, on a Sunday morning. So we've got the tea and the coffee, but sorry, we couldn't stretch to mandazi as well. It was just a bit of too much to do. But she sells charcoal to the people that sit outside her shop with a little charcoal burner, cooking snacks for people coming to the market. So we have a video to show you. All right, a little interview with Doreen, deputy head of a school, and I'm asking her all sorts of questions about this. It's just 4 minutes long. Yeah, on the others I managed to edit them, but this is me setting up the camera and then quickly getting in place. That's great. So, I'll talk to the camera for a moment.
Okay. Okay.
So we're talking about the credit union this morning, and just the effect that it's had on some of the local community here. Yeah. And this is Doreen Denver.
Doreen Denver. Thank you, Jeremy.
So, Doreen, where is your shop, and what sort of business does it do?
My shop is at the Hollow Market. I sell grains, especially maize, the dry maize.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. And is it going well?
Yeah, it's going well. It's doing well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how did you get the idea for the business? Because let me explain. You are deputy head teacher.
Yes.
Of Victory Christian School.
Yes.
So you have no time.
Yeah.
So what made you take a loan and start the business?
I just thought wisely, because I had to support my family in so many ways, so the money could not be enough, so I just had to think and get another source. So I just sat down, made a decision, got a lady, and just talked to the lady so that the lady could be employed there to work for me, sell for me there as I be in school here, because I'm the deputy teacher, as you say. Yeah.
Okay, so you're already employing one person.
I'm only employing one person.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And what did you hope to achieve? First of all,
yeah.
How did you manage to save the deposit or the shares to be able to take a loan out? Because that's not easy to save money.
Okay. I could get my salary little by little, and I saved there little by little. After then, I got the loan from the trade union.
Okay.
Yes.
And did you start very small? Because this is your third loan.
Yeah, it is not easy. It is not easy because sometimes the sales goes down and you have to pay the lady, you have to pay the rent there. There are some challenges, but you have to make it.
Okay. And what do you hope to achieve?
Okay.
What are your plans now?
My plan? Yeah, I have big plans. I want the business to expand so that it becomes a wholesale where I bring more bags of maize and people get retail shops get them from me. That is my main goal.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Was the business affected by COVID?
The business was affected so much by COVID because the markets were closed down, so there was no way we could sell things and there was no money. Some people could come to get the debt. They tell you, just help me with that, I'll pay you back. You know, you help somebody, but no paying back. You know, it goes on debt.
Right.
You know, because you have to help your clients. Yeah, but there is no money and the market is closed. It was not easy. I also had to pay the rent there. I also had to pay the lady that is doing it, but there was no money. It was a very big challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything that the credit union could do better to help?
Yeah, I think the trade union could expand the loaning. Yeah. Yeah. They could expand the loaning.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were a good customer of the
Yeah.
credit union because you always repay.
Yeah.
Some people don't repay.
That's very wrong. That's very wrong.
Yeah.
I would tell them we really need to pay because trade union is really helping us.
Okay.
It is really helping us. Like me, I've benefited a lot. This is my third one. And I'm still hoping to get more money because it is the only source. It is really good.
That's great.
Yes.
Thank you ever so much.
You're welcome.
Brilliant. Like she said, it is the only source, unless you want to go to a money lender. So it's just one of the very small things that we do, but it's absolutely making a huge difference in people's lives. And we're particularly looking for people now to make applications that are going to employ other people as well, because that makes a huge difference to their life. Right, I'm going to do a quick catch-up for anyone who's joined Life Church in the last 2.5 years, because I look around and I'm probably not familiar with about 70% of the congregation, if I'm honest. All right, we've had a huge influx. So let me start with a farm update, if we can put the next PowerPoint up. Okay, and if you want to follow what's happening on the farm on a regular basis, and you've got WhatsApp, let me have your number and I'll add you to the group that we just regularly, when I'm not there, put updates out on. So, food and water. The whole ethos of the farm is James 1:27. True religion is this, that you look after the widows and orphans. All right, so widows within the area that are attached to the church, some of them get a water distribution every week, 40 litres per week. And again, everyone gets a food distribution about every 6 weeks. All right, they come and they get whatever produce we have. It's always maize. We had a particularly good harvest last time, but there's always something else to be given out as well. So while I was there, we had a good look over the farm. We've decided to go for cabbages, because cabbages are fetching a really high price in the market at the moment. And so we don't do things small. We're like, okay, we'll start with 1,000 cabbages. All right, and the bananas, I don't know if you remember, but 10 years ago, there was 12 people that sponsored a banana plant here. All right, they've gone through the whole of their life cycle now, so they've all been taken up. The ground's been rested for a year. Now we're going to expand that. We're going to plant 30 bananas in the next 3 months, and we're going to go for the Ugandan variety as well, slightly larger. We're putting in a 1/4 of an acre of cassava. If you've ever tasted, anyone ever tasted cassava? It's not good, I have to admit. It's like a stringy potato, but again, it's so useful. over there. It's a huge root that grows underground. The orange trees that we put in are struggling a bit with the rain, believe it or not, with some of the flooding. They're all a bit waterlogged, so we're going to move the orange trees. And again, in the next 3 months, we'll just carry on distributing maize and water to the widows. It really is a lifeline to them. So here's the vegetable patch. We had it ploughed by cow this time because it was cheaper even than buying fuel for the tractor. It's only a small piece of land. So that's where all the cabbages are going to go in. Here's the team. That was the same bit of land the day 2 days before. All right, and it's actually Eric on the far left there who has the plough and the cow that came along and ploughed it for us. So the farm is just continuing to develop and to grow. And we've had real success with the crops there, particularly this year. A lot of the crops have been affected by a worm, but fortunately ours haven't. So should be a good harvest again. Now, the school that we're supporting, it started in 2014 in 2 rented rooms in a hardware store. In 2016, there was an American bought a piece of land opposite the hardware store for a school to be built. And it wasn't initially what they planned, but they just started doing something. Yeah, and many, many times we've walked over this land and prayed about a school being built there. So the first school was starting to be built in 2016, and it's timber construction with iron sheets. If you like it hot, Steve put the heating on for an hour this morning. I said, yeah, 26 will do. But if you like it hot, it's about 40 degrees in these. Okay, and you still see the kids with the jumpers on. All right. So this is a school in 2016. They moved 3 or 4 classes into it, and every year we built on a new classroom as the school got, as the children got older, up to class 8, which is when they move on to high school. It's a sneak preview of the school in 2022. It's taken us 4 years to build this. And again, some pictures I've not shared before. Out of Kisumu, which is 26 kilometers away, this has to be the largest building. Yeah? It is absolutely phenomenal. I'll give you a tour of it in a moment. Can you spot the words? And there you read it on there. There you go. Life Wing. So it just seemed like an impossible task. But we have a God who deals with the impossible. Hesbon confided in me. He says, we had a lot of groups have come to this, and they've looked at the plans, and they didn't even have the faith. And they said to him, well, we haven't even got the faith to pray this into being. It just seems like something that could never, ever happen in this village. Well, the great news is it's half built. Yeah? And of course, it's in use. They put the younger children on the top because they're noisier, and the older ones that have to study go on the base floor. But there's 3 floors to it, fully kitted out. And it was opened in October 21. Now, the school is unique because they feed the children. Again, Hesbon's experience was if he went home at lunchtime from school, there was nothing to eat anyway. So he'd come back starving in the afternoon. So, 2 ladies, all right, with their outdoor kitchen, with this. In actual fact, they've got 2 of these. All right. 2 stone fireplaces. Cook every day for 550 children. And that day it was rice and a bean stew. Another day they have green grams, or like lentils. Another day they'll have sukuma wiki, which is greens, tomatoes and a bit of onion, with some ugali, all right, which is beyond description. You've got to taste it. But these two ladies do this every day. They make lunch and breakfast, all right, so you get a porridge for breakfast and a lunch as well for 550, plus David, the school minibus driver in the background there, and also tractor driver. So it is just a phenomenal thing that they're doing. All right. In this country, we take education for granted. It's given as a right. In Kenya, it's not a right. You have to pay for it. And there are people that are willing to seek out and pay for the best schools around. When Victory Christian Centre first got graded, as it were, and first appeared on the Western Kisumu region, they were 21st in the listings. That's not bad for a startup. Hesbon reckons they're number 1 on the next listing to come out. All right. So it's just phenomenal, the difference that this school is making in terms of education. But let me give you, I think, a little more of a tour around it. No, it's not a tour. Hang on. Let me check my list here. Right. It's an interview. Okay, so I just said, give me randomly 4 children. So there was 3 from class 8, 1 from class 7. And you'll just see the commitment that they have. Usually, let me explain, usually when it comes to exams, they like to board the children. Okay, so they'll set up rooms and triple bunk beds within the school, so that when it comes to exam time, there's no excuse for getting distracted or not making the exam on time or whatever. This year, because the school's been closed for 9 months, they're boarding the whole of class 8, all right, for the whole of their year. Okay. Okay, because I thought boarding was just for when the exams were on, but you are boarding here now? Okay. Okay, so tell me, let's go. Tell me about your day when you're boarding. What time do you have to get up in the morning?
4:30 a.m.
Do you want to say that a bit louder? Because people won't believe that.
4:30 a.m.
4:30 a.m.
Yes.
is when you rise.
Yes.
Okay. I feel terrible now because I've kept you from your lunch and you've been up since 4:30. Okay. And you have breakfast?
Yes.
What was breakfast this morning?
Tea and sponge.
Tea and porridge.
And sponge.
And?
Sponge.
Okay, you'll have to explain what that is to everybody.
It's a kind of bread with yellow in color, but it's round.
Oh, okay. So tea and a bread.
Yes.
Yellow bread. Okay, and at break you had porridge?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And I've seen lunch today. It's a bean stew and rice. It looks very good. So why did you get up at 4:30? Let's ask Stacey this time. Why did you get up at 4:30? Why so early, even before the sun has come up? Do you have duties at school?
Not so much, but morning lessons like preps.
Preparation.
And we also have to prepare ourselves for the preps.
Okay. Wow. And we have, so lessons are from what time in the morning? 8 a.m. or earlier? When is your first class in the day?
8:20 a.m.
8:20. Okay. When is your last class?
5:10.
5:10. And will you have some study after that?
Yes, we have night preps.
Night preps.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, and is it done individually or a group prep?
The teachers comes and teaches us.
Oh, so they teach the whole class
Yes.
for prep for exams, which are in November. Okay. And are the weekends different? Or are you boarding just in the week, or
Even Saturdays and Sundays.
you're boarding here all the time?
Yes.
Wow. Is it who looks after you in the weekend?
We have a matron and a boarding master.
Okay. Are they both teachers?
No, the boarding master is the teacher.
Boarding master.
Yes.
Okay. So look out for. It was like a 13-minute interview, so I'll just take a little section of it there. But look out for Victoria, Raymond, Stacey, and Michelle, who was on the end, who features in it, but not in that little bit. When I asked them what they wanted to be, all right, when they finished high school, university, Michelle was a doctor. No, sorry, Victoria wanted to be a doctor. Raymond and Stacey wanted to go into medical research. Michelle on the end wants to be a neurosurgeon. All right? And these kids are boarding for a year to study for their Class 8 examination to get a good enough grade to be sought after by a high school. All right? Basically, you get over 400 in this examination, you choose where you want to go because of the offers that you're getting in. You know, such is their determination to make something of themselves. So after we finished and I got them their lunch, because I felt so guilty about that, I had a chat just about, remember this time, because when you've made it, when you've got your university degree and you've got your education, just remember, all right, there's still going to be children studying here who are still going to need a bit of assistance. Do you think we could just skip back to video 6, give you a quick tour of the rest of the buildings and the school itself? You remember a couple of years ago now, we had an appeal. It wasn't the most exciting of appeals because it was by a square metre of tiling, to finish off the schools, or sponsor a desk, which is what a lot of the Thumbs Up Club did, So listen out for the squeak, squeak, squeak of my shoes on the tiles, all right, and you'll see the desks at the end as well. Brilliant. The extreme of the Life Wing, our Victory Christian Centre. If we look over this way, you can see the first floor is going up on the middle section, and right over there is the right-hand wing, which is still only at ground floor level. So let's, the noise in the background is assembly just starting. So we take a walk down here, install the new classrooms that have been built. In the corner of every walkway there's a small office, and then cloakrooms or washrooms. And then there's either classrooms along this side, or in this case it's quite a large hall. We'll just pop in and have a quick look. There's usually new pupils in here taking an entrance exam. Quite a substantial size. Now we'll go down the staircase. Again, these are class 3 and class 4 classrooms. These are the ones that they really need to get the other parts of the building filled up, because these are filling up with numbers. If I slowly spin around, you'll be able to see much the same structure identical on every level, in fact. Now I'll pop down to the ground floor. Just quickly pop through this empty classroom. And these are the ground floor ones where classes 7 and 8. Okay. Hope that gives you a bit of an idea of just the quality of the build, and it's just a fantastic place to study as well. It's great just to hear the learning going on, because the learning in Kenya is a lot like the worship. It's a leader says the phrase, and then the congregation sing it back. So it's quite easy to pick up the worship, even though it's in a different language. And it's the same in school. All right, it's a teacher will shout it out, and the children then will repeat it back, and it's all learning by rote. But it's quite effective. Brilliant. Now then, next picture was courtesy of Rob. It doesn't look like he even remembers it. That's most people's impression of Kenya, isn't it? It's the wildlife, it's the Masai Mara, it's the safari, and it is genuinely a really, really gorgeous place. If anybody fancies coming with me next visit, here's the Foreign and Commonwealth page. Okay, just some of the warnings that they carry. I think I could have highlighted the whole lot, really. All right. I do say it's not the safest place in the world, but however, when I get to Kisumu, rather than turning left for the safari, and I always turn right for the village, and always feel safe and secure there. Even driving my beat-up Toyota Corolla with 400,000 kilometres on it, it goes wrong occasionally, as some of you will have seen, but generally it's a place that always feels safe to me, although it's not without risk. This is a promise that I was given when I first started going out to Kenya, and I've probably spent about 8 months of my life out there now. I've never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging for bread, and it is just phenomenal how when you get into missions work, that God just pours in everything that you need. 2.5 years ago, this was the update that we gave on the church and the school. And at the time, the theme that we were going through was enlarge, lengthen your ropes, strengthen your poles. Yeah. And we took that as a theme, and that's what we've done. This is the picture of the school 2.5 years ago. And Hezbollah standing there, looking quite isolated, thinking, how the heck are we ever going to finish this? All right. We estimate it's going to take about £100,000 to finish the school. For those of you who are not aware, 20% of your offerings go straight into the mission fund every month, and that funds all the missions that we support. Okay, some of them are in Kenya. We support a couple of children as well, and their information, Harold and Beth, is out there on the notice board, and a couple of organisations as well. But it's true to say the bulk of our support is going into Kenya. So £100,000 will finish it, but the building licence has just run out. So last time we were there, Hezbollah and I were going to the Commission of Building, or the Ministry of Construction, whatever it was called, to negotiate an extension for completing the rest of the building. It's likely that they'll give a 2-year extension. So, again, we need a miracle. We need God to step in and fill that gap. But I've no doubt that he will, because he's done it before. There's always opportunities in Kenya for mission. All right, regardless of who you are. Steve, you're going to get another invite to go out there, I guarantee that. I've taken 8 people out with me, But there are, if you're into medical, doctors, nurses, dentists, what a demand there is out there. Loads of opportunities. Teachers, school holidays have been cut out there this year to 1 week rather than a typical 3 or 4 to try and catch up with the 9 months that schools were closed, because obviously they didn't have the remote learning like we did. But teaching opportunities, just opportunities to see how things are done so differently out there. Lots of opportunities. Engineers, everything breaks down eventually out there. Here we go. Here's my Kenya phone. It's super robust. The battery's still good on it from when I got back, because I was without power 5 days out of 8 while I was out there. So again, engineers, if you're retired and you just like doing a bit of gardening, I have a big space that you can come and practice in. Right? There is virtually no limit. Anyone that feels a call out to Kenya, and it's got to be a calling, because it's a hot place to work. It's dry, it's dusty, everything breaks down, but the rewards are just phenomenal. I wanted to finish. I've got a short video to show you to finish with, but I wanted just to bring a bit of a challenge. Before I went away, we were focusing on the mind, and every message was brought to us was about the mind, strengthening it, the battles that go on in the mind. And I was thinking while I was out in Kenya about it's very easy while you're out there to almost like play God, because you've got a bunch of money and it's like, okay, where are we going to support? Where are we going to put it? Are we going to put it into this or that? If we don't do it there, is someone else going to suffer? But having the mind of Christ, you've got to rely wholeheartedly on what the Spirit tells you. All right. And this doesn't apply just to being out in Kenya. All right. It's going to apply tomorrow morning as well. Having the mind of Christ. For those who want to look it up, it's in 1 Corinthians 2, 6-16. Having the mind of Christ. Philippians 2, verse 5. If in doubt, always go to Philippians. In your relationships with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus, who being a very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking on the nature of a servant. I really annoy people when I'm out there, because they want to treat me well. They want to be hospitable and like give me things that they literally can't afford. So I really annoy them by digging their gardens, cleaning up, watering, washing dishes. All right, something they absolutely hate me doing, because you shouldn't be doing that. But it's like, no, we've got to show that actually love for one another. Having compassion, Matthew 9:36, another part of the mindset of Jesus. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. I'm not sure who it is that does our Instagram account, but have you seen the replies on it? We have an invite to Uganda, all right, to go and help an orphanage out there. Such is the world nowadays. It's getting smaller and smaller. So someone saw about the work that we were doing in Kenya and said, look, we need you in Uganda. So whatever it is that you feel compassionate about, or you feel compassion when you see it, maybe that's your mission field. Finally, be dependent on God. Luke 5:16. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. There's nothing like a trip out to Kenya to get you praying again. All right, especially the thing outside the airport when I got the puncture was just phenomenal. Midday, absolutely roasting outside, and I'd not even got out the car. I felt it go down, not even got out the car, and this guy pops up. I said, "Need a hand?" "Where the heck did you come from?" All right, but he'd heard it, and he came, and he was just fantastic. Frederick, he's a taxi driver. He was having his taxi washed across the road, and so even before he was out with a spanner, jacking it up, get some rocks under the front to change the wheel. All right. When we're into missions tomorrow morning, reliance on the Spirit and reliance on God, feeling that compassion and having the mindset of Christ are the things that we need to do. Kenya's a kind of a once a year, maybe twice a year opportunity, and it's great that while COVID was on, we could see that the work was ongoing. It doesn't need us to be there. It's just working by itself now. However, the challenge is for tomorrow morning. The mission in where you work, family that you're going to see. All right. So just if you get opportunity, just look at some of those scriptures and look at in a bit more detail about that. I'm going to show you a video very quickly of Hesbon and Violet. I just wanted to send their thanks. And
hey, Life Church. I'm Hesbon Odindo, speaking from Kenya, East Africa. We just want to say thank you to Pastor Stephen Spade and Jane and the family of Life Church. We are so grateful to the Almighty God and grateful to you individually and as a church family. You have done a great thing in our lives. During COVID, as we were praying and the government was threatening us of closing Victory because of a stalled construction project, God spoke to you wonderfully, and you came, really would say a stitch in time saves 9. When you came in and you supported us, we've been able to accomplish something that has made a huge difference, not only in the Victory Christian School, but in the community. We are now having many students, courtesy of your generous giving. We want to tell you, God bless you. We love you and we are praying for you. You are valued brothers and sisters, and what we are doing with you as partnering in this is for posterity. It's going to change lives for years and years when we're not there. So thank you individually. We are praying for you as families, as a church. God bless you.
Yeah, and thank you, Life Church Ministry. My name is Violet Odindo. We really want to appreciate you, even for the support that you've given us over the years, and especially towards the completed wing that we named Life, just to remember what you as a ministry have done to our lives and to the lives of many children that are vulnerable, some of them orphans. We just want to say thank you so much. May the Lord bless you and expand you. May the Lord increase you in His own way. Thank you so much.
absolutely brilliant. Capture that blessing at the end there. All right, and just take it and live for it tomorrow. All right, blessings are very, very important in Kenya. In fact, so important that I had Hesbon write one for my daughter's wedding. Yeah, critical. All right, so again, speak that over things tomorrow. I got to go to a wedding, first ever wedding in Kenya while I was there, and I kind of didn't want to go because I'm still like the only white person in the village. So especially when you turn up at church and that, you tend to attract a bit of attention. So I was umming and ahhing, and I had a word with the family, and they said, "Yeah, you'll be fine. You know that she'll be 2 hours late. Yeah, I know all that. Yeah, so I thought, fair enough. I'm gonna risk it and go, because the last thing you want to do is detract from the bride on her special day. So Violet set off to go and fetch her, about an hour and a half drive. And if you've seen Top Gear, when they're doing their Africa things and they get stuck in the mud, she got stuck in the mud. All right, this thing's a 4x4 and it's literally down to its axles because of all the rain that they've had. It took 20 men to pull it out of the mud. So anyway, she got there eventually to fetch the bride. She went to a funeral on the way back. So I turned up 3 hours after it was due to start, and they just arrived. So I managed to sneak in the back, and some of you will have seen the procession getting into the church. It was absolutely rammed. Everybody wanted to be there, partly for the food afterwards, of course. But the great thing was, how the service was in English. And I said to the pastor afterwards, I said, is that the law, that you have to do the actual wedding service in English? He said, no, I just wanted to do it in English. And there was a slight misunderstanding. So he said, you'll know the phrase well, do you, George, take Lillian to be your lawfully wedded wife? And he said, I, George, take Lillian to be my lovely wedded wife. Absolutely fantastic. And she did exactly the same as well. Took lawfully out and put lovely in. I thought, how good is that? Because we're not under law anymore, all right, but we're guided by love. So just while the worship band come up again, I'm just going to show you a video of them dancing out of the church.